Gittin Daf continues the Gemara's list of cures for various ailments, sicknesses, conditions, aches, and pains. The Gemara goes through the body, starting from the head and moving downward. A number of these remedies sound superstitious. Many of them are based in a spiritual understanding of the malady, which may or may not apply today, because a lot of these illnesses today are not caused by the spiritual sources that they were in the days when people were more spiritually refined. And also we have a concept called nishtanu hativim, that the nature of some of these diseases have changed. However, this does show the Gemara's widespread understanding of medicine and medical conditions. So let's go through them. A lot of them are terms, names of plants, herbs, and items which aren't easily identified, and we've taken the difficult to translate terms from the Art Scroll Gemara. So the Gemara begins with discussing something called blood of the head. That is a condition where somebody has a headache because of high blood pressure in his head. So the Gemara says he should bring a tree called a shorvina, which is a boxwood. He should bring a willow, fresh myrtle, olive, poplar, and some cloves, together with a tree called yavla. Boil them all together, and then take the mixture and pour 300 cups of it on one side of the head and 300 cups on the other side of the head, and that should solve the problem. If it does not, or if these are not available, another solution is to take a white rose whose leaves all grow on the same side of the stem, boil it, pour 60 cups of water on one side of the head and 60 cups of water on the other side of the head. Now, if he has a regular migraine, you should take a wild chicken, shechted with a zuz coin that was sharpened, and shechted in a way that it's over his head on the side of the head that aches, so that the blood drips down on that side of the head. Just be careful it doesn't drip into your eyes, because that would cause blindness. Then he should take that chicken and hang it over the house of the person who wasn't feeling well, so that he bangs into it on his way in and on his way out of the house. Now, for the eyes. So if he has cataracts, so he should bring a scorpion that has 7 different colored spots, dry it out in the shade, not in the sun, then grind it up, and make a powder out of it, and mix it with a chemical called antimony or kuchla, which is like a makeup. And you should mix it 2 parts antimony, 1 part scorpion, and then apply it to the eye 3 times on one eye, 3 times on the other eye. Don't do more than that, because it can cause the eye to burst. Now, if somebody has a condition called night blindness, where you can't see at night, so then he should take a rope made out of animal hair, the tail of a horse or a cow, and he should tie one of his own legs to one end of the rope and the other end of the rope to the leg of a dog. And then children should take broken pieces of pottery and rattle it behind him. They should say, Asa kalba achsa tarnagoyla, old dog, mad rooster. And they should take 7 pieces of raw meat from 7 houses that the homeowner would give him the meat in the doorway of his house, eat the meat next to the city trash, and afterwards he should take the rope off his leg, and they should say, Shaviri de plani bar planisa, Shavkinu de plani bar planisa. The blindness of this and this person, son of this and this woman, should leave this and this person, son of this and this woman. And then you should blow into the eye of the dog. Now, if somebody has a condition called daytime blindness, where you can't see in the light, you should bring 7 spleens from the insides of 7 slaughtered animals and roast them when they are sticking on the needle or the sharp implement that a bloodletter uses to make the wound by which he lets blood. So it was considered to be a vile thing. It was disgusting to people. Should roast it on that. Then the blind person should sit inside the house. The person who could see well should sit outside the house. And the blind man should say, give me the spleens to eat. And the other one should say, take and eat. And after he eats it, break the bloodletter's tool. Otherwise the blindness will come back. Now, about the nose. So if somebody has a nosebleed, you should bring a Kohen whose name is Levi, and he should write the name Levi backwards. If you can't do that, you should bring anybody, and he should write the following thing backwards. He should write, Ana Papi Shila Bar Sumke, I Papi Shila, son of Sumke, write that in reverse. And if not, if he can't do that, then he should say the following thing, Tam Deli Bimei Kesef, Tam Deli Bimei Pigam, the taste of a bucket in silver water and the taste of a bucket in disgusting water. Now, another solution for this is he should take the root of a plant called aspasta, which is usually used to feed to animals. The Gemara brings that as animal food many times. Then he should take a rope made of a bed, an old bed. They used to have ropes that were strung across the bed frame to make the mattress. And then he should take rag, paper, he should take a spice called mariki, saffron, and he should take the red part of a palm branch, burn them together until they become ash. Take a ball of wool and twist it into 2 fibers, 2 strands. Dip the strings in vinegar and then roll them in the ashes and stick one of each string in his nose, in one in each nostril. Now, if you can't do that, you should find a canal, flows from east to west, stand with one leg on one side and the other leg on the other side, and then he should take mud with his right hand from under his left foot, mud with his left hand from under his right foot. Take 2 strands of wool, stick them in the mud, and one of them goes in each nostril. Now, if he can't do that, then he should sit under a water spout. Other people should bring water and pour it on him through the spout, and then they should say, "Kechi lepasku hani maya, livsek demei planya bar plani." So just like these waters stop, the blood flowing from this and this person should stop. So that's for nosebleeds. Now we get to problems in the mouth. Someone is bleeding from his mouth, so we test him with a stalk of a wheat plant. If we stick that in the blood, if the blood sticks to it, then it comes from the lungs, and then it can be cured. If it does not stick to it, then it's coming from the liver, and there's no cure. Someone interrupts to say, "Hold on a second, you mean to tell me that the lungs are less of a problem if there's an injury there than the liver?" But we know that hilchos treifas is not true. The lungs, even if it is just a hole, it makes a treif, but the liver is not treif. If there's a hole, it's only treif if the entire thing is gone. Gemara says in a situation like this, where it's bleeding from the mouth, if it's coming from the liver, the entire liver must be gone. All right, back to the cure. So Gemara says that he should bring the cure if it's from the lungs, so that sticks to it as follows. You should bring 7 handfuls of sliced beets, 7 handfuls of sliced leek, 7 handfuls of a plant called prida, which might be a wild cherry tree, 3 handfuls of lentils, a handful of cumin, a handful of something called chavli, and all this together with an equal volume of intestinal fat of a firstborn animal. Cook it all together and eat it, and then drink beer or strong liquor that was made in the month of Teves. Now, somebody has a toothache in his molars. So you should bring a head of garlic that is only 1 clove, grind it together with oil and salt, put it on the thumbnail of the hand on the side that hurts, and you should put a ring of dough around it. Don't just make sure the garlic doesn't touch the skin because it can cause tsaras. Then if he has something called a swelling of the tonsils, which can choke him, so there's a few different steps here. There are 4 steps. So the first step is to bring the swelling down. In order to do that, you can either use chumsi or mamru. The best thing is the root of the chumsi. It's even better than the mamru. And then he should keep it in his mouth for a while until the swelling stops. Now, then you want to collect all the pus in an abscess. So you should take, when you sift wheat or grain or flour, you should take the bran that sticks to the top of the sieve. You should take lentils with their soil, fenugreek, a hot blossom, and take a nut, mix these all together, take a nut-sized amount, and keep it in the mouth. This will cause all the pus to draw into an abscess, and then you want to burst the abscess. In order to do that, you should have somebody blow white cress seeds into his throat through a wheat straw. And once that happens, it'll all leak out. The pus will come out, and then you have to make fresh skin grow. So you should bring the dust that grows and that is found in the shade of a bathroom, mix it with honey, and then eat it, and that'll solve that problem. Now, another problem called varsum, which is an inflammation of the mucous membrane of the head that makes mucus come out through the nose. So he should take a cedar cone full of something called nishadur, which article translates as ammoniac, and a nut-sized amount of sweet galbanum, and a spoonful of white honey. Then he should fill up a washing cup from mechuzah with clear wine, boil them all together. And when it's all cooked, when the ammoniac is cooked, the entire mixture is cooked, and then he should drink this mixture. If he doesn't have this, then he should get a revius, a leg of milk of a white goat, and then he should let it drip over 3 cabbage stalks into a kli, mix it all with a stick of a marmahin tree, and cook it together with that stick. When the stick is cooked, then the entire thing is cooked, and then you should drink this. If you can't do these, the third solution is to bring the excrement of a white dog, mix it with balsam, and eat that. However, one should always avoid eating excrement, so either try to live with it or try to get one of the other solutions. Now we get the problems of the heart. So there's something called gira, which literally means an arrow. So this was an inflammation of the membrane around the heart that causes chest pains. And what he should do is he should take something called the arrow of Lilith, which is a stone that falls from the sky during hailstorms. It's very sharp. Turn it upside down, pour water over it, and drink the water. If you can't do that, you should bring some water that a dog drank from, and then you should drink that. Just be careful that there shouldn't be any snakes around that area, because then he could have put venom into that, and that would be dangerous to drink. Now, if anybody needs to drink water that was left uncovered, he should drink an anpak. That's a certain kli that holds revius, you should drink that amount of undiluted wine, wine not mixed with water. And now a similar cure is used for something called a mursa, an abscess, where somebody has swelling filled with pus. You should take an anpak of wine mixed with a red aloe. Now, more heart conditions. So if somebody has a faint heartbeat and he has therefore fainting spells, so you should bring 3 loaves of barley bread, soak them together in a chamka, that is a kutach. It's like a yogurt mixed with, it's sharp, it's let to ferment, mixed with breadcrumbs, whey, and spices. And he should soak that with this kutach that's less than 40 days old, and he should eat it and drink watered down wine. So we're asking this, Rav Acha Midifti said to Ravina, if somebody does that, that's going to cause him to faint for sure. These foods are very faint inducing. So Ravina answers to Rav Acha Midifti. He says, I said that this is a solution for somebody who is heavy-hearted, not somebody who is light-hearted. If he's light-hearted, then he should bring 3 loaves of wheat bread, soak them in honey, and eat them, and then drink full-strength wine, which is the opposite. Now, somebody who has chest pains, he has heart pains, he should bring 3 egg sizes of mint, an egg size of cumin, and an egg size of sesame, and eat all those things. Going to a different version, you should take eggs and dip them in these things and actually eat the eggs. Now, people who have stomach pain in their intestines, you should bring 300 kernels of long peppers every day for 3 days. Drink 100 of them in wine. The Gemara brings a story here that Ravan of Narash made this for Rav Ashi's daughter who had stomach problems, 150 peppercorns, and she was cured by them eventually after all those. Now, another problem of the stomach is somebody who has a worm, an intestinal worm. He should bring an anpak of wine together with a laurel leaf. Somebody has a white intestinal worm, he should bring a seed of a plant called galgila, which is called a rocket plant, wrap it in cotton cloth, soak it in water, and drink the water. Just be careful, don't swallow the kernel, because if you don't, then that can make a hole in the intestinal tract. Other problems with the stomach is if somebody is dysregulated in his bowel movements, meaning that he has a very loose stomach, then he should take fresh retiva. You should take fresh season, which is called pennyroyal, and soak it in water and eat that. Now, the opposite, if he has constipation, you should take dried pennyroyal, soak it in water, and eat that. Now, the way to remember which one is which is that it says, Itza retiva de sachar nara, fresh Itza dams a river, meaning that the fresh pennyroyal is what solves the diarrhea. Now, if somebody has a bloated spleen, he should take 7 water leeches, dry them out in the shade, and each day for 3 days drink 2 or 3 of them in wine. Another solution for that is he should take the spleen of a female goat that has had no children yet, has never given birth, press it to the inside of an oven, stand near the oven, and say, Ki hechid yavish hai tachla, just as the spleen dries up, niyavish tachlai de pleni bar plenisa, then the spleen of such and such person, son of such and such woman, should dry up as well. Now, if one doesn't have an oven and he can't do that, he should take the spleen of a barren female goat and stick it into the bricks of a new house and say the same thing. Now, if he can't do any of these solutions, he should find someone who died on Shabbos, take the hand of the body, place it over his spleen, and say, just like this hand dries up, the spleen of such and such person, son of such and such woman, should dry up as well. If you can't do that,